Hey everyone, Trevor at Toploaded Gaming. So it's been a while since the leaks of The Last of Us 2 took the internet by storm. I released my no spoiler video on it 2 weeks ago now, and if you still didn't get a chance to see it and still prefer not to be spoiled, I'll have a link in the description, because in this video I will be getting into spoilers. So this is your last warning, we will be getting into spoilers right now, and it will be a mix of my own thoughts and speculations about what I think may transpire in The Last of Us 2.
Mr. Toploaded Gaming, the fucking garden gnome who thinks he's intelligent.
I don't think I've been able to track down all the spoilers, but from what I have seen, this is my takeaway as far as what goes down. Now, from what I can gather, you start out as Joel, or at least there's a sequence where you play as Joel, if only for a ride into Tommy's camp. Joel's cleaning a guitar and talking to Tommy about what went down when he and Ellie found the fireflies. Tommy tells Joel he'll take his secret to the grave if he has to, so Joel has no intention of telling Ellie what really happened there. Joel would later go on to sing for Ellie and give her the guitar as what seems like an attempt to keep their relationship alive, because Ellie seems to not trust Joel's story of what actually happened. Now, the game seems to jump timelines constantly, but Joel giving Ellie the guitar seems to take place not long after they get back, which brings me to an alternative scene that shows the character Abby's perspective of what happened when Joel rescued Ellie from the operating table. This is something I want to get into for a bit. If you've played The Last of Us, the first doctor you come across, he grabs a scalpel and refuses to let you pass. You're forced to kill him no matter what. You can avoid killing the rest of the medical staff in the room, but that doctor is killed no matter what. So it leads me to believe that they always had it planned to have this doctor's death be the basis for retaliation in the sequel. But did they truly have all this planned out? I seriously doubt that, but who knows? Either way, in this alternate scene, we learn that the doctor was Abby's father. Joel ruined her life, killed her father, so she wants vengeance for that. Now, at some point, we time jump a few years. Obviously, we have one of the original scenes from the Sony presentation that Ella and Dina are dancing. Now, I'm going to speculate that Dina is also messing around with Jesse. Either that, or Dina wants a kid so badly she asks Jesse to be the father, because we know she's pregnant from a specific scene we'll get into later. Now, in a scene with Dina and Ellie laying on a couch, we can see that Ellie is telling someone about her immunity for the first time, but Dina doesn't believe her. Now, this is taking place during a blizzard, which I'm going to speculate now the infamous death scene of Joel is during that blizzard. Jesse interrupts Ellie and Dina, and it seems he's mad at Dina, possibly because they were a couple, but at the very least because they were supposed to be standing guard at their posts. Now, we learn here that Tommy and Joel are missing. We kind of know what happens to Joel, and we'll get into that, but I think they might hold Tommy captive so no one tries to pursue them once Abby and her group make their escape. Either way, what happens next is very polarizing to say the least. Ellie walks into a room looking for Joel and Tommy, and she sees Joel barely breathing, bleeding from the head, Abby standing over him with a golf club. I'm going to pause for a second here. Why a golf club of all things? I mean, I don't buy that it's all they had. I'm trying to remember anything in the first game that would somehow make the golf club symbolize something, but I'm just drawing a blank. So the only thing I keep thinking, and again, this is speculation, but this is essentially femininity destroying toxic masculinity by killing Joel, utilizing a tool from the most egregious oppressor's leisurely activities, golf. Just about the widest sport ever in some people's eyes. Or maybe it's just what they had. But I personally don't think it's a mistake. And I also get that she wanted Joel to suffer, but a crowbar could have done the trick, as well as a hockey stick, a baseball bat, a cricket bat, plenty of other objects, hell, even a pipe like in the first game. But anyways, they restrain Ellie and she's looking at her father figure, Joel. I still don't think she knows why Abby's doing this, or who Abby is yet, but she's looking at Joel's lifeless body, almost in complete disbelief he could have been bested like this. She starts begging Abby to stop, and she begs Joel to get up and fight, because surely after everything that they've been through, it cannot possibly fucking end like this. Well, I think we fucking agree, Ellie. Finally, Abby delivers the death blow. Now here's the thing, there are two perspectives to this scene, Abby and Ellie's. In Abby's, you can hear a lot of the discussion from her group, whereas Ellie's is more of a building climax of blinding rage and wanting vengeance. I think Ellie's scene plays first, and Abby's perspective comes much later. So I think that with the way the beginning scene happened in the first game, where we play as Sarah, Joel's daughter, then she dies, and we play as Joel, then later as Ellie, I think Joel probably dies very quickly. But the catch is, I think the narrative does time jumps, or I just could be wrong about him dying pretty early into the game. Either way, The Last of Us is a dark series, and I think they want us to experience that loss early on like we did in the first game. It would also kind of fit into the format of the last game, being Sarah, Joel, then Ellie, and then this game being Joel, Ellie, Abby. But let me also speak again on Tommy. It might not be the case that he is held captive at some point. I'm not sure. He may actually go after Abby himself. I think Tommy definitely has his own arc in the story besides just staying at the camp. I actually wouldn't mind if we got to play as Tommy for a bit, but I seriously doubt that at this point. So in another scene, we see Dina and Ellie seem to be trying to sneak out of the camp. Dina appears to be okay and assisting Ellie with tracking down Abby, at least at this point in time she is. At some point, Ellie is with Dina and they track down and fight Abby. Now Abby ends up winning, bashing Dina's face into the ground. Dina gets hit in the shoulder with an arrow. Now this is why I say the first of the two battles that Ellie and Abby have, because Abby's about to kill Dina and Ellie tells her that she's pregnant, and the kid with the bow questions whether Abby should do it. So Abby ends up sparing both of their lives. And I say that because later on there's a scene with Dina that Ellie seems to be going after Abby again, and Dina alludes to them having a family. We also know that Jesse dies, so if he is the father, he's gone, leaving Ellie and Dina to raise the baby. But we'll get into this scene more in just a bit. I think at some point you take over as Abby, as she ends up captured by this so-called Christian faction of enemies that hang people. Now either they kill Abby's group or she just gets separated from them and captured. But we've all obviously seen the clip of the kid with the bow saving her, so that's how they initially become friends, I would think. Now here's one of the biggest questions: does Ellie die in this game? Taking a look at the scene where Ellie is leaving, that is either the end of the game, setting up the next game and the final battle between her and Abby, or it's what I'm actually leaning towards, is that Abby ultimately kills Ellie in the second battle. Now certainly one of the leakers alluded to this being the case, saying it had a message of no one really won in the end because revenge gets you nothing. Aside from just gameplay footage, that is finally all the leaks that I pretty much saw. To me, the graphics look amazing. I was still hoping that Naughty Dog would surprise everyone and make this a real open world game. I think ultimately Naughty Dog should step up their game and transition The Last of Us and Uncharted type games into open world, but I realize not everyone feels this way. I will say I'm extremely worried about this game's story. I mean, the first game was so well written, the Left Behind DLC not so much, but I would say the fact that the main villain is some daughter of a doctor number 3 or whoever he was credited as in the game, I think it's more akin to a soap opera than the masterful storytelling that was the first game. I mean, to me it would actually be just as corny having Marlene survive, but somehow she has amnesia, ends up at Tommy's camp, and ends up remembering everything. Like, how cliche and corny would that be? I think that's pretty much on par with the story we have here, and gotta say I'm pretty fucking worried. And look, could it work? Yeah, of course it can. I'm not saying it can't, but I think it's evident that we have a drop in quality. Now, could that be Neo and Naughty Dog's apparent radicalization from tuning into Sarkeesian's frequency? I don't know. The clip making the rounds showing Neo's original plan for The Last of Us being an infestation of bugs, and it would only infect women, and Ellie was, the only one that was immune to it. It seemed pretty lame, and so did the drawings I saw, so in that sense, Anita actually helped the story. But I will say, just because you had a storyline infect all women doesn't make it inherently sexist. Come on, Neil. So are you saying that Y the Last Man is misogynist? I mean, in that story, everything affected all men, And if anything, feminists say it's still sexist, so give me a fucking break, man. Ultimately, The Last of Us is one of my favorite theatrical games of all time, seconded only by Red Dead Redemption 2. So I'll definitely still be giving it a chance, probably. I mean, after all these false strikes, I don't know. I may have to wait until I can get it used or something, until I can avoid giving Naughty Dog my money. And to Naughty Dog, The Walking Dead, Better Call Saul, all these shows have leaks. They've had to deal with leaks, some more major than others. I mean, shit, name a newer show. Game of Thrones had, what was it, like 4 entire episodes leak? They had 2 back-to-back season plots leak? Remember when Wolverine leaked online? I mean, the CG was incomplete in a lot of parts, but it was basically a complete movie. You are not special, Naughty Dog. And as these leaks become public, it is completely okay for people to discuss. Your actions have hurt the company's reputation for years to come. I hope it was worth it. For that, I say fuck you, Naughty Dog. Fuck you, Sony. Stop it. You're not so special that your game is somehow above the same criticism as any other form of entertainment. That's gonna do it for me. This is Trevor over at Toploaded Gaming. I'll see you next time.